All right, and welcome to Griffin Graffiti with Grossmont College head coach Mike Jordan. I'm Ramon Scott. Dave Dickens of EastCountySports.com joins us, and our special guest this week from the winning team, the Grossmont College Griffins, is freshman offensive lineman Mason Tileia, the former Granite Hills Eagle. Mason, thank you for joining us. Dave, we
That's what I'm
have
talking
a
about.
we have. This is the special edition of Griffin Graffiti. Even though we're going to make this a regular thing, I think moving forward, this is a special edition after our victory over Orange Coast, 27-18. Dave, we used some big plays against these guys. Made those linemen run all the way down there into the end zone to celebrate after those long touchdowns that got us the victory this week.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. We talked about it briefly, Mason. How well the ground game was working for you, and that was exactly what Coach had talked to you guys about before earlier in the week, and that you needed to get that ground game established, and that JB really did, and you guys had some good holes for him. You want to elaborate on that for us, please?
Oh yeah. I talked to the starting five before the game. I said, look, we need to do whatever it takes for this man JB to get his yards, and it just started with us up front. Once I said that, it kind of escalated in the first half of the game, where we just ran the ball down their throat. So I mean, yeah, that's what I told the guys up front. I told them, just do what you need to do. I'll take care of the little things first, and everything will go successful. And so that's what I
And of
basically
course,
told him.
I mean, we almost got him 100 yards, and it opened up the passing game for both quarterbacks, and both quarterbacks ended up having a fairly good day.
Oh yeah, I mean, we were trying to get JB to 100 rushing yards, but unfortunately, he came up short. So I mean, the quarterback and the running back did a very good job on Saturday. So much, yeah. Shout out to them. Much respect for them.
I'm sure JB was all smiles for a change. Not only the win, but coming close to those 100 yards, and I hear it myself when I'm on the sidelines that he is very respectful of you guys up front.
Oh yeah, he talks to us every day, every single day. He talks to us. He just talks to us, saying like what we need to do more. He's kind of like our motivation, as you can say. Well, I mean, I like the kid. The kid's really good. Yeah, really good leadership on the team, especially when it comes
Coach,
to us five.
Yeah, I'll get started with Coach Dave. Coach Jordan, here I am. Just to get an aesthetic view of the game. I want to talk about the big plays, the touchdowns, but I think Mason has me convinced, and that's the way you want it. Establish that ground game, control the game on the line, then those big plays can happen.
Yeah, it's pretty much our offensive philosophy. You know, this big plays come off that play action pass game, which comes off the run game. So if we're able to run the ball downfield for our, really talented receiver crew. So we got that done on Saturday, probably for the first time really, the season. So proud of the guys.
now, Coach, has Joaquin pretty much? I wouldn't say that he's solidified the job per se, but I've seen him taking a majority of the snaps as of late.
Yeah, well, he's definitely the most consistent. He's been in the offense for a couple of years now, so he knows how things run. He does a good job of leading that. What we have is still a young group out there. Probably our best bet for right now. But those other guys are very talented. Sharif and Lucas both have big arms and ability. But I think Joaquin gives us that steady hand we need running that offense back there.
Yeah, it seems when you want to go pick up, the ground game's working well, and let's say you get stuck and you have to pick up what the defense is going to give you. You have the little dinks and dunks. He's always good for those two, and fun in the open guy to keep you moving down the field and at least get you to that 30.
Yeah, like I said, my offense runs on you got to throw the spots on time, and right now he does the best at doing that of the guys. Just he understands how to read defenses. He understands their offense pretty much completely. So it really helps him out as far as getting the ball to the right spot at the right time.
Yeah, and Mason, as far as working through this season and finally getting this first victory, but for you guys up front, you guys are you're a freshman, and you guys are running quite a few freshmen up there, right? Tell me about your cohorts on the offensive line.
We're a young group of guys. I mean, I think other teams take that as an advantage. So, I mean, what can I say about us? I mean, we said at the beginning of the season, no matter what goes down, just do your best. I don't care if we're freshmen. Most of us have been playing football most of our lives anyway, so, I mean, it really doesn't matter.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll interject a little bit there.
Yeah.
Well, it does matter. We have all freshman offensive line, which I don't think we've ever had up here at Grossmont before. So it's definitely challenging. But some pretty talented players out there. Like I told you guys when you asked who I wanted to bring on, I mentioned Mason. Man, I don't want to tell him this because it's probably going to give him a big head, but he might be the best freshman we've ever had at Grossmont as far as offensive lineman goes. We're talking about guys that played in the NFL for a lot of years. Larry Moore, guys like Jordan Fagan at Illinois, and Big Javon Latuli, who just came back from Akron. Veteran Jay Williams that's at Florida State. So he has Mason has a huge future ahead of him if he takes care of the little things that he needs to do, and his academics, man. He's a pretty special dude, and he has a huge future for him. So don't get that to your head, Mason, but I got to tell you that, man. I meant to tell you that earlier today, but just to be sure your head's on straight. But seriously, man, the way you play out there and the way you film out, you do some great things, like probably no one we've ever had there before with all your attributes. So, man, just keep a straight path, buddy, and you're going to go big time, guaranteed.
Coach Jordan, how much of a development and how far back did you watch Mason? Because he's someone that really caught our eye early in his career because of his size. And I think, if anything, Mason, with all the God-gifted abilities that he's been given, really had to work on his game technique, footwork, and these type of things to develop into that type of player. Would that be a fair characterization?
Well, yeah, as most guys are when they come out of high school, they just got to hone their skills a little bit and do things, whatever, transition to college, as far as the technique and stuff goes. But that's another thing about Mason. He's very coachable. He's one of the guys that can get things right away. As Coach Campbell works him through stuff, he picks things up really fast. And scouts are going to love him because he's going to film out to where he looks like he already knows what he's doing. So they can just kind of plug him into their system when they bring him in. That's a real valuable for those guys at the next level.
That's a real good thing, Dave, because, when Mason first caught our eye, it was because of his size. And now when coaches are looking at film, there's a lot of big guys on that line now. And Mason, not going to say he's just one of the guys, but now what'll stand out is his ability and his performance.
Yeah, for sure. And not to switch topics so quickly, but I did want to bring them up before they so they get their due as well. But our defense did a fine job on the field on Saturday as well. I mean, 3 turnovers. Whitehead even had a pair of picks. So defense. Coach, you were talking about you've always wanted to play a simple defense, and let your guys beat their guys, and whoever comes out on top, that's how you want to run the defense. And it looks like that's exactly what happened on Saturday.
Yeah, I think our guys were playing pretty fast Saturday. We got some good skilled guys. You mentioned Robert Whitehead, but you got Jaden Tanunu also back there, and Derek Sutherland. Those are all real skilled guys. So our back end is a pretty solid group of guys. So they can, the ball starts flying around, they do a good job of finding that thing.
Coach, yeah, he did. I think the one I remember best was at Southwestern. I was lucky to even get the shot. It was so quick, and you can see you barely see the 27 even in the shot actually flying through there, because he came from the left corner and picked that one off. And then just the way he went about it, and no big celebration, and just set the ball down and walked over to the huddle or walked over to the sideline. I mean, it was something of beauty. You had to be there, Ramon, but it was definitely some of beauty. I know Coach will remember that one for a while.
Yeah, you're talking about Derek Sutherland. He has plenty of experience. He has plenty of experience with interceptions. He has a gang of them both in high school and as a freshman. That's last year. A real ball hawk, long kid, great ball skills. You know, humble as the day is long too. He doesn't say anything, just kind of goes about his business on a daily basis.
Yeah, Coach Jordan's kind of chopping up on us a little bit, so let me turn my attention back to Mason. Mason, when we were getting off on that ground game, I kind of wanted to talk about the big plays. So how did you see it from your end? You knew what was coming, and, man, we threw big touchdowns. Can you believe it? Really, the offense kind of breaking through with those big bombs to Perez, Tanez Davis, and Malik Steen.
Oh yeah, our receivers their corners cannot match up to our receivers, so we took advantage of that, throwing the ball deep most of the time. Our receivers did a good job about running routes, and that's pretty much it. The receivers executed.
And the confidence that this offense can build off a game like this. I know it's got to be frustrating, man, the type of season that we're having, but quite frankly, in a game where you kind of went in thinking, hey, if we don't win this game, we don't got no business, right? So that confidence to get that game, you described it in the interview that I heard you do with Dave, talking about just the energy, the different feeling on the sidelines that the guys had really throughout the game, expecting to win that game.
Oh yeah, I want to say offensively, we told each other, this game, we must win this game. Like there's no excuses this time. We have to win this game. And I mean, we wanted it, and then we got it.
Yeah, I loved how they talked about it, Dave. And when you're a winless team and you're going on the road, and maybe in the back of your mind, and maybe even observers might think that, hey, Grossmont's real live to win this game. But to go out and kind of win it like they did, they kind of controlled the game throughout. And I think that's important for these guys, especially the young guys building confidence playing towards next season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Coach, we've talked about that pretty much all season long, that it's going to take a minute, having such a young team. And, you've said many times, it's just a couple of miscues and maybe a route that wasn't perfect and maybe somebody not lining up where they were supposed to, missed assignment, away from probably 3 or 4 wins to add to our total.
Yeah. The offense has to be pretty much in sync all the time. Those little things, it's a yard or 2 difference in your depth of your route, or the timing's a half a second off of the ball out of the quarterback's hands. The running back's a half a second late. Things, just doesn't work. So it's, offense is like a dance. I think to have everything timed out to make it successful.
I can't hear.
Just a little is what takes a minute to so to speak. So.
Yeah, sure. These guys are chopping up on me a little bit. It might be you and me, Mason, here in a second.
Yeah.
Let me see if I got Coach Jordan. You back with me? Dave, can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Okay, I'll keep working on it. Keep trying to keep us organized here. I do want to continue to talk about. Not hearing me, Coach Jordan? I'm going to take you out and bring you back in real quick.
Can you hear me, Ramon, or no?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. I can hear everybody just fine, and I'm sorry that you guys are not hearing me. This is a really good show right now, and Coach is going to move in so I can try to make sure we get this connection. So, Dave, as far as the game against the Orange Coast is concerned, like I said, the Griffins controlled the game. They had a 69-yard pass early from Joaquin Quintana McKinney to Joseph Perez, a 69-yarder that gave the Griffins a 7-0 lead in the first quarter. Orange Coast came back to make it 7-3, but the Griffins struck again early in the second quarter with a big touchdown pass from Quintana to Davis, 44 yards and a touchdown, and that made it 14-3. Orange Coast then came back with a touchdown about midway through the second quarter to cut it to 14-10. But Jarius Burnett had a touchdown run in the fourth quarter that was scoreless throughout the third. And then Malik Steen, a 33-yard connection from Sharif Harris Legree. Coach, hopefully you're back with me. I wanted to maybe get your comments. Sharif got his best playing time, his most extended playing time of the season this week. And his career's winding down. I know this experience has probably meant a lot to him. Maybe didn't achieve the things that he wanted to, but he had to be happy to see his success. 9 of 12 passing this past Saturday.
Yeah, he came in and did some really good things. And think about Sharif. He started those first 3 games, and then after he wasn't starting anymore, he didn't really change his demeanor that much. I mean, he's always real positive and trying to help out where he can with helping the other quarterback see stuff maybe, and making suggestions from the offense side. We never lost him mentally, so he was able to come back in and take the reins Saturday and really did a pretty good job and threw some nice balls downfield and stood in the pocket when he needed to and scrambled and used his athletic ability. He did some really good things. So, he's going to play again this week too. So, hopefully he can carry on that, what he built on what he did last week.
Mason, I was going to ask you, one thing that Coach Jordan and I had discussed briefly after each game is the amount of discipline that you guys actually have for being such a younger group, and especially on the offensive line, being so disciplined and not having as many penalties as a typical young team would have, and especially when you have 2 to 3 different quarterbacks coming in there. That's going to change it up a bit each time, but being able to watch the ball and not be taken off and getting having the false starts and those type of things. I mean, you guys have been real good at the penalties.
That's what kills most teams, I believe. Like little stuff, false starts, holding. We just intend to prevent that, so keep it clean.
But for a younger team, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you look at the 3 teams in the county. You guys have been really disciplined when it comes to that. And I mean, so to be a younger team, typically you would think they would start stacking up, but you guys are real good at that. I've noticed that in every game. And like we say, we're just a couple of plays away from having a 5 or 6 win season.
Oh yeah, we're a young group of guys, but we're still disciplined. We've been around football for a really long time, so we know what we have to do to not cost the team.
Hey, Coach Jordan, I want to ask you about a player, Dave's favorite guy on the team this year, and hey, it was your 3rd quarterback of the game. Tell me, did you run? I had to read the play-by-play to get a full grip, of course, of what happened and get the lowdown on my Griffins. And we run a fake punt, and Jack Browning threw a pass to complete it. It's situation, I'm reading the play-by-play, so trying to get a feel for the game. If I'm ever going to expect, the first thing I thought of is if I'm ever a special teams coach on the other team, and if I'm ever going to expect a fake punt on a particular play, it was in that situation. How did they miss this?
Well, I mean, we knew they were going to come after us. That was actually Coach CJ's suggestion. They're going to come and try to block the punt. We knew that, so it's perfect time to set up for that particular fake punt. So it worked out. It could have went either way, but it worked out the way we ran it. So we were able to run the clock out after that. But our snap is pretty good, and Browning does a great job of getting the ball off on time also. So I think it would have worked out either way, but it's good to see that punt work and a pretty good call, I think, for the time.
Yeah, Dave, if you're be honest here. If you're a winless football team and you're up by 9 points, you're looking to have some fun with your guys, reward them for a season, reward a guy for a good season like you did with Browning. I mean, that was the call right there. Even if it failed, they were probably going to win that game. So why not pull the strings a little bit?
Well, it was more of a preservation call. So we didn't want them to block the punt, score, and then get an onside kick and possibly score again. So it was really a call to get the first down and keep the ball out of their hands. So it was a legit call. We weren't trying to have fun. We were trying to just win a football game.
I'm sure he was pretty excited though, right, Coach? I mean, Jack, when he was playing over at West Hills, he was playing both sides of the ball, and so I'm sure because he ran that play, he was probably pretty excited to be a part of that, since he's been most kicking, which is what he is special at. But I'm sure he did have all smiles when it did work out.
Yeah, well, Jack's a great athlete. He can do a lot of things. He actually made a couple tackles, I think on the kickoff returns. He made a couple good tackles, and he played safety also in high school. He's pretty good athlete. So he's pretty capable of doing a lot of different things, and we'll use him more in the future with things like that for sure.
Hey Mason, you chuckled on that one. You on that special team?
Nah, I just how good he's executed. Yeah, how good it worked. I mean, it really did look like he was going to punt the ball, but he just tossed it.
Coach, maybe one more comment about the receiving core. I went over the scoring plays there, and I keep talking about the big plays. I know you want to talk about the success and the improvement of this offensive line, but hey, they just burst the ball, the completions out to all the guys. Nobody had more than 2 completions, and we had the big plays. Tell me about the big plays. 69-yarder that started off to Perez, Davis the 44-yarder, and Malik gets rewarded. Got him back in the end zone. It took a while.
Yeah, they had a tendency to blitz every third down, and 5 and under. They're coming with cover 0 blitz, so we were able to isolate a couple of our fast receivers. We have plenty of them, so every time we got the matchup we wanted, we were able to go downfield and make big plays.
Yeah, and Mason, this week they noted that because of maybe our ability, maybe your guys' dominance on the offensive line that we expected against Orange Coast, that we took way more snaps under center this week instead of trying to run from the shotgun against some of those bigger, fast teams that maybe apply a little more pressure. Tell me about that strategy going into the game against the Pirates this past week.
We have to protect the quarterback. They're a very physical D. They like to come hard. I think what we have to focus on is protecting the quarterback, protecting the QB at all time.
And Dave, I don't want to get back to reality here. We've been celebrating this victory, a much needed one, a much earned one, a much deserved one. But this week we got the big team coming in. And if anything, it's going to give our fans a chance to see a great team come in here this week. We always start out strong. We can give these guys a battle. And if we just, somehow keep that first half close, keep it a game at halftime, let's make some noise and have a great game this week, Dave, against the Gauchos, undefeated right now.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something, though? Third ranked and all. If, it's anything can happen at any level of football, and you never know. And as you mentioned, we have started off real strong. Just about every game we've played this season, especially at home against Riverside, for example. We went out there, and played probably one of the best quarters I'd seen you guys play all season long, at home anyway. Mason, you want to comment on that?
Want to repeat that? I'm sorry.
No, I was just talking about how you guys have that fast start where you guys are fired up and we're hitting on all cylinders, and especially in that first quarter. And one of the examples I was saying is to get like against Riverside. I mean, they came in there and you guys jumped on them early, and both offensively and defensively were playing probably one of your best quarters of football, especially at home.
We usually start fast. So start fast. Just starting fast is, just driving down the field, more tempo. I mean, just get all offense and score. Get all offense and score. That's what it comes down to.
And Coach, I was talking to both quarterbacks, both Joaquin and Sharif, and what was the main reason you decided that you've been in the gun all season long, and you decided this week we were going to go just under center and just go for it? What was the reason behind that?
This offense just works better under center. I don't know. It takes me every about 10 years to mess up again and try to go out of the gun just because for different reasons. Because all these quarterbacks are used to going for the gun pretty much nowadays. They're all pretty good at catching and throwing. All the centers can snap shotgun. But timing of my offense works best under center. It's just a timing thing and a vision thing for the quarterback, and it just doesn't work out of gun nearly as well. So we're just going to go back to what I know works. I've been coaching for the last 27 years up here basically. So under center, I'm just more comfortable with the offense. It fits better with our offense.
So it wasn't necessarily a move, Coach, in this game against Orange Coast. We're getting back to trying to earn that push at the front and keep that offensive line. Maybe these guys, where all their development is starting to take place and starting to come to a crescendo, that we can earn that push now, and these guys are improving. Let's just work that way right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or 1 step forward, 2 steps back sometimes as you get guys injured through the season or have to miss practice, because of getting dinged up or whatever. Now guys are switching positions a little bit here and there, so it's not like they're playing the same position all year long. We've moved guys around quite a bit to try to get the right fit and try to fill in for guys that get injured. So it's if guys could play the same position all season and we don't get anybody hurt, things would progress a lot faster. But as guys are moving around, learning new positions, it just inhibits that learning curve a little bit. But they're getting it. They're all pretty comfortable. I think Mason's played guard and tackle now quite a bit, and quite a few of the other guys are multi-position guys now. So it helps that way if you have to fit guys in when someone gets removed from a game for what reason or injured or can't make a game for another reason. We can move guys around and still have a good quality offensive line out there.
Coach, when I talk about us going up against these elite teams, I mean, the thing is, the reason why we are able to, hang in there is because, hey, we've got ones and we've got twos. But what it comes down to is they've got ones and then they've got ones. And that's kind of what ends up happening in the second half.
Yeah, the depth thing definitely is an issue, which it always is in football. So you can't just have one group of guys. You have to have, pretty much two deep of guys that are, almost equally as good as each other. Because, this time of season, you're not going to be playing with all your starters for sure. So, if you want to make the run, you may want to make a run at the playoffs or the state and national championship. You got to have great depth and talent at those positions to make it.
Mason, it's an important game for you in your career. I mean, look, it's going to be a very, very tough game, and no matter the outcome, you got to be looking forward to this and staying out there the full game and getting full reps against these guys. It's going to make you got to feel like it's a big, big challenge and a important step for you to play against these guys every play and play hard, huh?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a really big. It's gonna be a really big challenge this week, especially for Saddleback. We're ranked 3rd in the state. It's gonna be a really good competition. Really good matchup.
Dave, the game.
And
I said I just want to correct something. Make sure I'm right, Coach Jordan. I put 3 p.m. initially, but the game is at 1 p.m. Not our standard starting time this week, or maybe after the time change you start earlier. We're starting at 1, right?
Yeah, if we started at 3, we'd be playing in the dark, the third and fourth quarter probably. Saddleback's going to be throwing the ball around the field. We'll do our share of throwing the ball, so that it's going to be a pretty long contest probably. If we don't start at 1 o'clock, we won't get the game in.
Yeah. I might work that in.
Got to do.
Yeah, I think we should have started at 3. No. Dave, and go ahead, Dave. I have a question when you're done.
No, I was just saying, whether we get the win or the loss, obviously we're going to go with the mentality that we're going to win this game. But I mean, even if we can hang in there and hang with them through 4 quarters, I think at the end of the whole thing, I think that's a win in itself. Wouldn't you say, Mason?
Oh yeah. If everybody just sticks together and do what they're supposed to do on every play, guarantee you will come out victorious.
Oh yeah, win every quarter. Win every quarter. I mean, that's the mentality. Coach and Dave, can we talk about at all? I don't want to just tell me no if we can't, but Dave, you mentioned it to me, a possible switch to the American League next year. Can we talk about that at all, or is it something that's not available yet?
Go ahead, Coach. You clarified it in one sentence to me.
Well, the thing is about the American League, yeah, so every 2 years, the bottom 2 teams from the National League are supposed to move down to the American League, and the top 2 American League teams are supposed to move up. They haven't really enforced that for like the last 15 years. I think Southwestern has been down in that lower league. They refused to come up for a bunch of years. They finally came up last year for the first year. But you know, we're on the bubble. If they really were going to that formula, we wouldn't be what it would be. You know, it gives a lot of reprieve in the schedule strength for sure. But you know, I prefer the best teams regardless to compete against the best team. So, you know, if that was to happen, it wouldn't be the worst thing. That's how we won the national championship when we were in that lower division. But you know, I prefer playing the Riversides and the Saddlebacks. You know, I want guys like Mason to go up against the best players in the nation, so his recognition and you know, show those university coaches what he's capable of doing. And you know, I think the best chance of us going against the best competition is playing as the best team. So, you know, we have to take our lumps sometimes, and you know, sometimes, like I said, it's 2-4, but you know, we're not that far away. You guys, you know, sometimes doesn't seem like that with our record, but we're not that far away from turning this thing around and be able to beat those teams like Riverside, which we have before recently, and Saddleback. I just rather stay up. Like I said, we win a lot of games, and I could, you know, buy a ring every year for, you know, winning the American division, but I prefer playing the tough competition. So we'll do our best to hang up here.
I can agree as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure, Mason. Great comment there at the end, Dave. Yeah, you said it. I mean, that speaks volumes right there. Coaches produce Division I players. It's tougher maybe to produce them down there when you're just rolling over guys in film every week. So, you know, this way guys stand out. A guy like Jay Williams, look, tough year last year, but Jay Williams stood out to a lot of people, obviously, to, you know, over a dozen schools and more. So,
well, the thing is people don't realize is those university coaches don't have any idea what our record are. You know, they don't know what our record is. They call me, ask if I have any quality players. I tell them my guys. They look at their own film, and if they like them, they come meet them, and it goes from there. But those university coaches don't have any idea how many wins or losses we have. You know, they come out and they see a good player. I have a good reputation on telling them the truth about guys. So, you know, when I tell them a guy can play, they believe me, and they don't ask my record. They just look at the player and meet him. If they like him, they take him. So, you know, that's the system.
So there again, I mean, you want that. The tougher the competition, obviously, they're going to look at that and how well they did react, and like in Mason's situation, playing against a team like Saddleback this weekend and having a good game even individually will definitely stand out and open up many doors.
Yeah, that's how it works. It's, you know, there'll be scouts that are looking at, you know, a couple guys on Saddleback, and you know, when the film comes up, they're looking at Saddleback. They're going to see Mason out there handling their guy that they might be recruiting. So that opens up a lot of doors. It has in the past for a lot of different guys just like that.
And Mason, how much of your development, you know, you're working with a staff that put Jay to Florida State last year, and he had all those schools to choose from. How much tape you've watched on King Jay a little bit to see his form and technique, and how much of that relates to the way you're coached up by this same coaching staff that sent him to Florida State?
Oh, I watch film on him all the time. I mean, the way he I would say the way he blocks those ends is really. I'm trying to take his technique and put it into mine, so I can be better. And so yeah, he can block.
Dave, you've been out there. You've seen Mason actually for a couple of years now back at Granite Hills, and let's not forget Mason. Really stood out on those on those Braves teams. He started at Elkhorn Valley, right, Mason?
Yeah, good times.
He stood out at that time. The funny thing, Dave, I kind of make fun of it now that Mason's just another guy, but I mean, he's definitely noticeable out there. But back when he was a young Brave, he was twice as tall as some of those kids.
Yeah, and then of course making that big change too, going from Elko Valley. But I'm sure that being the guy that you are today, I'm sure it humbled you quite a bit too, though. The time you spent as a Brave going over the other end of Madison and then coming to Grossmont.
I learned a lot, especially football wise, and well, how can I word this?
About life, Mason. I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, we need, like I said, Dave, when it comes, I don't want to tie this back. We got to wrap this show up. But, when it comes to giving guys opportunities, I mean, and Mason, like Coach says, a guy's going to stand out. It's a little different at the high school level. And getting Mason an opportunity, with the Eagles, quite frankly, it was probably a pretty important deal. I'll say it so he doesn't have to. I don't even know how it works. But you look at him competing with a Division I program, now getting the opportunity with Coach Mike up at Grossmont, and like you said, they don't know the scores on film, so he gets to put that to work every week and continue to develop his skills and abilities moving forward. So, Dave, this week we'll just wrap it up right here. Want to invite everybody out to see a great football team, the Saddleback Gauchos, and our great football program, the Grossmont College Griffins. If you haven't made it out there, this is the week to do it. Last home game of the season. So get out there and check out our brand new turf, our brand new scoreboard, and we're going to get things really going here by next year. But this is the chance to see our Griffins, Dave, one more time, and you get to see the third-ranked team in the state, the undefeated Saddleback Gauchos.
And let's not forget to especially mention the time change, that the usual 3 o'clock start is going to be a 1 o'clock start. So make sure that everybody you get your watches checked and time it up, set your alarms.
Yeah. All right. Freshman offensive lineman Mason Tilea, thank you so much for joining us. Great finally catching up with you, and really enjoyed watching
Appreciate
you. Really, for the last, seems like the last 4 years at this point, Coach Jordan, we've been watching Mason develop and grow. So we're happy to see how happy you are with his success as well. And Coach Mike Jordan, thanks for joining us. Griffin Graffiti, it's a regular thing on EastCountySports.com, Dave.
Absolutely.
All right. For the guys and Dave Dickens, I'm Ramon Scott. Thank you for joining us.
See ya.
There we are.